All right, we are live for the midweek morning check-in, and as always, looking forward to connecting and just sharing with you some things that is worth paying attention to, I believe. And Bitcoin, it's not going anywhere. And as of now, it looks like the Trump Media Group has decided to add cryptocurrencies to their portfolio. And so, is this a last-minute effort or a just first movers advantage before we have that great MAGA wealth effect as a result of whatever crypto policies will be rolled out, and we get into that euphoric phase of everyone wanting to rush into crypto as a part of this boom that might be coming to cover up or to divert a bust. But we'll talk about that and a couple other things. But anyway, good morning to everybody. Hope everyone is doing well this morning. And as always, for those who are plugging in, never know who might be new. Let me know where you're watching from via the chat. We'd definitely love to acknowledge your presence. Let me know if my audio is coming in good. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear so that I'm not just talking to myself. And then we can, move right along and hopefully get to some of the nuts and bolts of what we're going to touch on today, because it's going to be a good morning. Nevertheless, I want to start off with some good news, and then we'll get into some of the market activity, some resources, and then we'll get into a lot of the noise, which happens to be surrounded around, the headlines that are given to us after they unfold. So a lot of things happening right now. We got the RFK Jr. Confirmation hearing right now, and there's a lot of negative publicity coming from the lamestream media that is already painting a very problematic appointment if he actually gets cleared. And of course, to be somewhat, skeptical of everything, I think even if he gets in, I wouldn't really hang my hat on him making the significant changes that will be needed to make America healthy again, because that means basically doing away with everything we have as food, which is all processed. So, but we'll see. It's always going to be hopeful. So let me move a little closer. Let me make sure everything is good here. For those who are checking in, appreciate you. We got Creole, the traveler from FEMA Region 5 checking in. Appreciate you. We got Knoxville checking in as well. Appreciate you. We got Gulag checking in as well. Appreciate you guys, man, for blessing with your presence. As always, there's more than enough stories to touch on. So feel free in the comment section or in the chat, let me know what you are keeping your eyes on, just because I would like to be brought up to speed as well if there's things that I'm missing out on, just for the sake of, being in the know. I would hate to be on the outside not aware of certain things. So definitely feel free to do that. And let me move forward right along and then just give people some information on what they can do and what they can expect from the channel here. So for those who might be new, you never know, make sure you guys hit that subscription button, as well as that check mark or the bell notification wherever you're watching from, and join the community. Definitely would love to have you join us more often, and give you a chance to chime in and share your thoughts on some things. And if you guys would like to as well, be a blessing to the channel via donation outside of that, hitting that thumbs up button right now. If you would be interested in donating monetarily speaking, here's a couple ways you can do it. Links in the description as well. So that is always a good way of being a blessing to the channel. So let's get into it. We'll get into the good news, and then the resources, and then the noise. Let's make it happen, people. All right, let me get myself situated on this side here. All right, here we go. The good news for today. Let me make it bigger so I can see it and actually be able to read it clearly. Okay, so January 29th. As you go, the kingdom is in motion. This is from Matthew 10:7, as it says, as you go, proclaim this message. The kingdom of heaven has come near. And that's from the good old red letters there. It says, Jesus has never called us to sit and wait for the kingdom to arrive. He commanded us to go and to declare that it's already here. The kingdom of God is not a distant promise. It is a present reality advancing through those who walk in obedience. It says, when Jesus sent out his disciples, he gave them power to heal the sick, raise the dead, and to cleanse the lepers and to cast out demons. Why? Because the kingdom is not just words. It's a demonstration of God's authority on earth inside of the believers at this present moment. It says, think about it. Every time you step out in faith, every time you pray for someone, every time you speak the truth of the gospel, you are advancing the influence of heaven, aka the kingdom. The kingdom moves as you move. And it says, so what are you waiting for? Your mission is in motion. Step out, speak up, and let the world know that the kingdom of heaven is here. And if you are a believer in Christ, born again, filled with the Spirit, then you possess everything needed to be proactive on behalf of the King himself. And so once again, just a way to hopefully charge you up this morning, let you know who you are, whose you are, and what your assignment is, which is to go out and to be fruitful for the good Lord. All right. So with that being the case, yeah, I mean, it's just this, having a chance to share the good news, man, is always a privilege and an honor. I don't take it for granted, and I'm very grateful that God has put it on my heart to be able to share with you guys. So hopefully it is a blessing to you as well. Okay, so let's get into some of the resources. I never know who might be new. I want to make this sweet and to the point. So for those who might be new, you never know. I got to make sure I provide people with options. Can't just talk about all the things happening in the world, all the noise, and not point people in a direction that can help them protect everything they work so hard for. So as you can see on the screen here, colonialsmetalsgroup.com/RTD. This is a place where you can actually take possession of your retirement in the form of a self-directed IRA via gold and silver. So if you're interested, visit colonialsmetalsgroup.com/RTD, or click that little link in the description, or call that number and speak with the experts professionally, experts immediately, and fill out this form here, and you'll download this PDF file here, which will give you all the information you need to get your questions answered, to find out if this option is something that's good for you. So take advantage of it if you are interested, my good people. And then next, I want to remind people of the way to get a hold of what I consider to be the most affordable gold on the market right now. And it comes in the form of these gold back notes here. And so if you're interested, go to goldbuynotes.com, and I'll bring it on the screen so you can see it here, and just basically redeem some of these fiat notes here. Redeem some of these notes here for something real and tangible in the form of 24 karat gold polymer coated notes. So once again, just a good way of diversifying outside of the government liabilities and getting something tangible and real that you can feel. All right. Buygoldnotes.com. Check it out if you guys are interested. All right, let's keep moving, man. Let's keep it moving right along. Let's check in and see what the action is in the metals market as we speak. So let me refresh my page here so we can see what's happening. And as we can see here, we have a little red on the screen here, but nothing too bad, I guess. Let me get my stuff out the way here so I'm not clogging up the screen. Bear with me, people. So we got gold at 2,751 pieces of Federal Reserve notes. And then we have silver at 30 pieces of Federal Reserve paper. Platinum, 950 pieces of paper. Palladium, 954 pieces of paper. And then right on down accordingly. So looks like, metals is somewhat being contained in that ballpark figure of 2,730 for silver. And then, of course, the crypto space is always something that will be preferred by the powers that be. And so as of right now, we got XCN is down negative 6%. We got Bitcoin hovering at around 101,000 pieces of Federal Reserve note paper notes. Ethereum is 3,000. And it looks like XRP is at 3 Federal Reserve notes at this current moment. I think I might start referring to everything as Federal Reserve note terms. But that's just a couple things that's worth paying attention there. So let's get into some of the headlines, man, some things that really caught my attention, because I think a lot of what is being set up has to do with crypto, of course, and having, a crypto-friendly president is right in alignment with what I believe Wall Street would love, because they have positioned themselves to be the beneficiaries of all this transitioning movement, because now that the banks will be able to custody cryptos, once again, they'll be able to financialize the sector, make their fees off of it, and voila, crypto market has been captured as always. So, and that's the thing, when people actually think the bankers are going to lose, that's how I know that some people can be very delusional in thinking that anything we're witnessing now has been disruptive. I haven't seen much disruption in the status quo, but I could be wrong. So feel free to let me know where I'm missing it, because at this current moment, everything appears to be on track and on course for what I've been talking about for years now. Everything that seems to be quite obvious now is not much disruption. And I think what is most interesting is how we have a president and his cabinets around him that has established a digital asset czar with a Senate Banking Committee for Digital Assets, portion, and all this inclusion now of the digital asset verbiage. And so All of that, I believe, will be a part of what will be needed for Congress in order to rewrite some of the rules when it comes to the USC, United States Commercial Code, which has all the framework for labeling currency and our money. And so just like after the Federal Reserve was created in 1913, they went in and added a little excerpt saying Federal Reserve banknotes and liabilities as currency, or which we already had in there, gold and silver coinage from the United States Mint or United States government was money. Just like they'll probably add in, digital asset liabilities or digital asset representations or something like that. And it's coming because they can't rebrand a currency without first changing it on the books. So you can believe that's coming sooner than later. So just mark my words and remember that your boy Mike told you first. Okay, so let's get into some news. So for those who are interested, you can click the link in the description, go to rtd.news. All the information that I'm going to touch on for the most part is already here. And we can go from there. So let's just dive in here. And so the first thing I want to touch on is how Trump media to invest in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. And so no coincidence whatsoever. The crypto market is somewhat relatively calm outside of all the hype and hope happening globally. And so will the Trump group, who clearly has front hand information, they get a chance to front run anything because you got a president who's being told what to do. It's good to say he's going to shore up all of his family and friends and everybody else before he signs any signatures, making some type of exciting news in this space here. And so I believe that them deciding to get exposure to Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies is a part of the plan before we experience what I consider to be that Trump MAGA wealth effect, that MAGA wealth effect that's coming. And so as you can see right here over my shoulder, it includes Bitcoin, because without Bitcoin, there can be no great reset. Mark my words. And history will prove that to be correct. I would be willing to bet on that one. And I'm not a betting man. Okay, so let me just look at here. So here we got Trump media to invest in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency. And one thing I noticed amongst this whole, line of talk here is centered on the fact that the Bitcoin community, it being the genesis block of this entire, digital distraction stuff, every single person, i.e. a maximalist, is always going to put in the word Bitcoin first and make sure that is first, front and center, when it's become quite obvious that Trump doesn't care about Bitcoin specifically. He only cares about what he's being instructed to do, and it has to do with the digital asset space in general. So that includes Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. And even when he mentions this sector, he always mentions crypto first and then Bitcoin. And so there will be no solely Bitcoin strategic stockpile. He's going to have an assortment, more than likely. And a good chunk of the things that will be in there will be things that he is told to put in there. And it has to do with enriching all of the people who were initially a part of this movement from the jump. And it has everything to do linking back to the financial sector as well as Wall Street. So Jamie Dimon, Larry Fink, all those guys that, we don't really care for because we've witnessed how they have preyed on the average person. They will get richer. Everybody surrounding Trump will get richer. That's just how it goes. So we can ignore it, or you can try to find out what they're going to do. And if you are a speculator, you can try to position yourself to also reap some of the benefits of this rigged market that we're going to experience pretty soon. So real quick, just share with you some things here that I think is worth paying attention to, because as I always say, don't just listen to what they say, follow what they do, and you won't be left out. So it says, in an important development for the asset class, Trump Media and Technology Group has announced a new expansion that will see them invest in Bitcoin and in other cryptocurrencies. Indeed, a recent press release unveiled the company's launch of its first of its financial tech arm, Truth.Fi. And so we have the Trump empire going beyond the real estate game, going beyond everything that he's been traditionally known for. And now that he's president, or before he became president, but the World Liberty Financial, which is apparently ran by his children, they've already loaded up their coffers with Bitcoin and all types of other coins. So they're just taking funds and getting ready for the MAGA wealth effect, so that they'll be on the benefiting side. And then now we got Big Daddy Trump with Trump Media and Technical Group, which is his conglomerate being ran by other people. But it's good to say he has a good share of his wealth in the form of his asset portfolio in this particular company here. So the richer they get, the wealthier he becomes. And he don't even have to worry about anything. He can just focus on distracting the mass media, distracting the world with all this, tariff talk and all this big and bad, talk that he's doing now to keep people excited. While all along, when he leaves office, he's going to be he'll probably be, he's already with the Trump coin. If his, brother or his sister, his family got a good portion of those coins that are locked up, they're already uber billionaires on top of the billions they had. And it's good to say with all this exposure that he has, there's just billions on top of billions that he will be a part of. And so, yeah, can we say wealth transfer, or is this a part of just like, the QE when it begins again, all that additional currency will be siphoned into this stuff as well. So no matter what, these people are on the inside, so they got information that we are not privy to, but just watch what they do. And so here, it looks like they're getting in the Truth.Fi and the financial arm of things now. So we're from a app to a video live streaming platform to now they're getting into banking in a sense. That's all inclusive. So it says the newly developed financial services firm is another key aspect of its growing Truth brand. Specifically, it will join its social media platform, Truth Social, and video streaming platform, Truth Plus, as key facets of its operation. So once again, Truth Social and Truth Plus, which is a part of his media company, it's not really even all that big. Like, I have a presence on all that, but other than the MAGA crowd on there, nobody really cares about Truth Social. And so it's like, what is he doing other than just having assets in his name that he controls and that he can just literally, off the sheer mention of a word or two or off a signature being signed, siphon funds into his coffers via these platforms here. So having, created these entities here as a part of his brand is brilliant, because the more active he is in helping set up certain indices and sectors, the greater his companies will do. So genius, to say the least. But the financial services and technology strategy has been approved by the board of directors this week, with its new fintech brand playing a major role. So here we have more crypto related information being given out, and there has been no official news on any of this the Bitcoin reserve, crypto reserve, or any type of real regulatory clarity, and all that stuff, just because we're 2 weeks into all this. So this year can pan out to be a very interesting year, barring any unforeseen events. So, but pay attention to what he's doing, because he's just going to get richer. And that's on one side there. Okay, let's keep it moving. A couple other things here. Let's get into what Elon is up to. So Elon is still active. I hear more about Elon than I do Vance. So it's good to say, Elon might be, Trump's right-hand man, i.e. the quasi vice president. But another thing worth touching on is Trump's deferred registration of federal workers. So that, news came out yesterday, and I thought it was quite interesting, because offering a buyout to federal workers is being touted as saving the taxpayers money. But then once again, the whole point of people becoming government workers is for this, the lifelong privileges and benefits of having, work for less, but get all the rewards and retirement benefits and everything else. So I hear a lot of people pushing back, saying this is not constitutional, this won't fly, Well, we'll see. But it's just interesting to see that this is definitely a way to save some money. It says the Trump administration has introduced a deferred resignation program for all 2 million federal workers, offering a severance package equivalent to 8 months of pay through September 30th. Estimates suggest 5 to 10% might opt for this buyout, potentially saving up to $100 billion. Think about that, $100 billion of savings if people participate in this. And so I would imagine a good chunk of the people who decided to work for the government, a part of that whole their plan was to be able to secure a job with the government, which has been touted as like you've made it. Like I remember hearing a lot of people about going to school and working for the government because they're going to take care of you. You're going to be good once you get in there. And very few people outside of those who might start something on their own actually leave the government because of the benefits. And so with this potential shakeup here, this is a good thing because it'll force a lot of potentially deadbeat individuals that really produce nothing other than just pushing paper from their homes now, because more than 50% of the buildings, the federal buildings, are empty because people are at home. So this definitely shakes things up in a very positive way. And what I would like to see more of is just the outright announcing of shutting down certain branches that are just pointless. And the truth of the matter is, if this Stargate AI situation is actually brought to fruition in conjunction with OpenAI, ChatGPT.gov, and eventually robotics, believe me, before Trump's out of here, they're going to have some type of robotics announcement that will be utilized as a positive to help save government expenditures on whatever it is that they're going to be announced for. And so between the software, the robotics, and the surveillance AI, by the time Trump is done, the entire restructuring of our government could be complete in a very problematic way, because it'll be less human interaction and more government software type of activity, to where that structure aligns perfectly with what Klaus Schwab predicted as the Great Reset, where mankind isn't really needed because we can do everything for them on their behalf. And that's what it is. So we'll see. But yeah, while technology is touted as being good, if it's in the hands of I would say evil individuals or people who don't operate in the best interests of humanity, it's going to turn out to bite us all in the butt. But out of curiosity, what are you guys thinking about this possible severance package for government workers? Will it fly? Will it work? Let me know in the chat. Man, it's just interesting time. It's very, all this stuff is very entertaining. I must admit, it is very. So we got either come back full time or you can leave. Yeah, but once again, come back to full time. Like a lot of these positions, I would imagine, were just a part of government having grown over the last decades as a part of this. The government wants to be your overseer, your overlord, your daddy type of role, to where a lot of these departments. I even saw something recently about one of the, I guess, congressmen, I think, talking about time to get rid of the TSA. And here we are now 4 years after 9/11, and TSA is still in existence and going through the airport all the time. Like, most of the people are just holding the job down. They're not even really dialed in, paying attention to the security side of things. So it's just become a formality, which is good to say is unnecessary. But the problem with that is, you get rid of TSA, it's just very probable that, the forces that are against a good governance would definitely pull off a staged event where they'll be like, we told you so. And then we might have another instance where another radicalist group pops up. We have Al Qaeda, ISIS, and Hamas, and all these terror cells. They're going to create another one that all of a sudden, take down a plane, God forbid. And we should have had TSA there. It's all Trump's fault, that type of stuff. So in a land where, evil is running rampant, it's always good to have good intentions, but there's always that one knucklehead that wants to mess stuff up, and that's unfortunate. But so LBP said, Mike, that's a terrible deal. Give me at least 3 years severance, then I'll leave. 3 years. Then that'll probably, instead of that 8 months or whatever it is, that'll probably cost about $300 billion. So just triple what it's supposed to offer us in savings. And so I don't think taxpayers will be so happy with that. But then again, taxpayers don't really have any say in the matter, because Trump's going to do what he wants to do anyway. So 2 years severance. Says, give me 2 years severance for every 10 years of service. Now that's a deal. LBP, man, that will be ideal in a world where our government wasn't bankrupt. But it's unfortunate that I don't think they are really concerned with your best interest or any other person's best interest. It's more so just trying to get rid of what they would probably call dead weight. I mean, that's what they look at the population as anyway. So, but I get you though. I mean, and that's where like Social Security, like even people in the older generation, I know people who talk about I put in the Social Security, I deserve my Social Security. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, they lied to you 50, 60 years ago. And now it's become obvious that there's nothing there. And the younger generation is not contributing to Social Security because most of them ain't working. So there is nothing there. So it's either debt, deficits, more currency debasement, and you're going to get what you were promised. But once again, what will it purchase you? But the joke's on you. The problem's on you. And that's where a lot of the older generation that never paid attention to the events unfolding around them. They just took the promises and ran with them. It's unfortunate that they were lied to, and more than likely they're going to be the victims of continual congressional presidential malfeasance is what I would call it. Every president, as I say, put in on this reset that we're having right now. And once again, just to highlight what I'm talking about, got to go back to the visual aid so you can see, because I never know who might be new. But as you can see here, every president since the creation of the Federal Reserve has contributed to the destruction of our national currency. So literally a dollar can't do anything for you anymore. So only thing the current president can do is offer you more of these units in the form of asset price appreciation. So if you have your real estate, your home, your house is going to double, it's going to triple. Value hasn't changed, but the amount of currency units needed to purchase one increases, makes you feel wealthier. And then, of course, if you're in the crypto space with this Bitcoin stuff and crypto stuff, Bitcoin and crypto is just software. But because there's a buyer on the other end, as they create more money, it's gonna find its way into the crypto space. So therefore, if you bought one at $100, it's gonna be $100 million, and you're gonna feel wealthier. But once again, what you're using to buy something with is becoming worth less. So it's gonna be an even trade-off. It's probably going to be looked at in the history books as one of the greatest schemes the government ever pulled on humanity, because they gave people the impression that they were getting wealthier while they were rebranding the currency right under their nose. So, yeah, but this is the world we live in. Okay, a couple more things there. A couple more things worth touching on. What we got here? Elon Musk is still doing his thing. He is right now. Elon has become like a favorite amongst the MAGA crowd, and so Elon Musk is also going for financial services and X. It says Elon Musk X begins its push into financial services with a Visa deal. So we got the Truth.Fi, which is Trump's arm, getting in the financial sector. Now we got Elon getting in the financial sector. So you got to ask yourself, why is everybody so pressed to get into the financial sector? What do they have planned, or what do they see coming that would allow them to get first dibs on the future that they're creating? Could it have anything to do with a consolidation of power into the hands of a small few when it comes to us being forced to live on solely software, i.e., some type of digital dollar / CBDC type of thing, and have it interconnected to their platforms, whether it be Truth.Fi or whether it be XFi, which, if people can't see this, more power to them. Okay, so real quick here, what's going on with this? So these are real events that will be part of our future, whether you like them or not. If you want to interact with the system, you will go through these avenues at some capacity. And so it says here, to give you some highlights, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but Elon Musk X said it has struck a deal with Visa, the largest U.S. credit card network, to be the first partner for what it's calling the X Money account. And so we all know that Elon Musk desires to have X to be the WeChat of China, which is a all-inclusive surveillance state, financial, social, economic platform. X Money account getting its regulatory license and clarity soon to be in all 50 states. Then, he's going to be a legitimized money transmitter, i.e. a bank, and he's going to make it very enticing for everybody to somehow, some way transfer their accounts into X. And I was even thinking, like, I can put on my tinfoil hat and go down, a little cuckoo land. But wouldn't it be interesting? Because X is like Trump's right-hand man. If there's some type of event, as I mentioned this before, that everybody who has a smartphone somehow, some way has been steered to X, wouldn't it be ideal for them to just have everybody connect their accounts to X so that they can actually have instantaneous financial transactions via the X platform? And that right there could subvert any of the banking side or, anything with the Federal Reserve. If people want to jump on that, that camp of, trust the plan, Trump's going to really, do away with, Jerome Powell and company. So, but I don't buy it one bit, but it's just something to think about. You never know. It says, Visa will enable X users. Let me zoom in. Will enable X users to move funds between traditional bank accounts and their digital wallets and make instant peer-to-peer payments like with Zelle and Venmo. So the peer-to-peer side is what's interesting because that lines up exactly with the whole crypto narrative. So will cryptos be included in that? I'm sure it will be. It says it's the first concrete move from X to create a financial ecosystem for the social media site. So X is a global brand, and it would include payments, banking, and all types of stuff inside of it. Yeah, none of this is coincidental. Everything is intentional. They got a plan, and unfortunately, we're not in on it. And then on to some other stuff here. Real quick here, let me get to a couple headlines here. California, let me get this on the screen here. This is something that could be entertaining. I remember we always talked about Texas, but it looks like California secession petition for independence moves forward. So the Secretary of State there is looking to, I guess, get people's signature or get their thoughts as to whether or not it's time to leave the union because Donald Trump. So here it says California Secretary of State Shirley Weber has approved a campaign allowing signatures to be gathered for a potential vote on California secession from the United States to form an independent country. Legal experts have questioned the feasibility of such a move, and while there's no confirmation on collection of signatures, discussions around economic impact and political implications continue. So once again, there's a lot of people sharing their thoughts. Marjorie Taylor Greene is also saying, go ahead. We got more people here. Everybody chiming in, sharing their thoughts. So once again, it's all entertainment. It's all show, just stuff to keep people distracted and dumbed down. And that's the game plan of the propagandist, to make sure that you never focus on one independent subject or one focal point, because we all can rally together on that, and they don't want us unified on anything. They want to keep us all distracted. So here's something that I'll two more. Dr. Jane says RFK will bow down to Big Pharma. So as I mentioned, he is currently at the hearing right now. And so this is her sharing her thoughts. Let me read this on the screen here. It says here, this is Dr. Jane Ruby, another person in the medical realm that is very honest with her opinions and was quite accurate during the whole health experience we had. It said, let's get real. If RFK Jr. is confirmed, he will bow down to Big Pharma and to toe the line of supporting healthcare for America, which means serving the needs of Big Pharma, the largest funders of agencies like the FDA and the CDC. So then she just posted a little video here with some of his quotes on things he's said in the past, but he's dialed down from as he joined the Trump campaign. So we'll have to wait and see, but don't hold your breath expecting any real disruptions in that space there. And then last, let's talk about Canada. So as of now, Canada, we can learn a lot from this because Canada have cut their rates. Let me get this together here. Canada has cut their key interest rates by 25 basis points, and they are going to stop QE. And so, quantitative tightening. And in doing so, there's word that they will begin QE or asset purchases in March. So is inflation contained? You better believe it's not. But at this point, they're using the Trump tariff narrative as a reason why they need to begin probably supporting the economy again. So it just gives you more information here as to how they're trapped, they're stuck, The only way out is to print their way out, and they have no choice but to begin supporting their own economy because conditions are extremely tight there well before Trump started talking about the tariff narrative on Canada. And so they are above their CPI rate of inflation of 2%. And so interest rates are at 3. And so it says here, it says they cut 20%, 25 basis points to 3% as expected, announces the end of QT. It says QT end means now government can still not sell their securities, meaning they're talking about trying to balance out their balance sheet. And so if they're not selling off or letting the liabilities they have roll off, they'll remain there. So they're not going to shrink their balance sheet. And so they're going to need to begin supporting the economy, which means they're going to start purchasing. And so once they start purchasing in March, as it's suggested in these articles here, QE is back on the table. And so it's just a matter of how long before the U.S. does the same thing. And so it's good to say Trump will definitely put pressure on JP to juice the markets. At the same time, he's going to announce perhaps some type of crypto thing. And you better believe we're going to have the MAGA pump like we've never could have imagined. It could be very entertaining. And then imagine this. Say if he actually ends up cutting the taxes, income taxes, to where he let people keep some of their wealth in the form of, asset price appreciation, to where it creates a boom like we've never experienced before, where people who are holders of assets begin selling off some and buying stuff. And, inflation is going to pick up, you better believe. So it's just, a whirlwind of things that could be underway this year. So, it's only been 2 weeks, and all these potential things that he's put forth could really be interesting, as well as exciting, depending on what side of the coin you're on. And then you have gold and silver just sitting there lagging behind. It may end up having some type of drawdown as people look to probably sell their metals for cryptos because they don't want to miss out on the crypto boom. And then, of course, buy back in or whatever. So it's just so many strategies people will probably try. But once again, in the meantime, protect yourself with hard, sound, true, tried, tested financial mediums as just, insurance policy. Put it aside, don't worry about it. And then look for ways to gain some of this asset price appreciation that it appears that Trump is going to try to put out there for the sake of making himself look good, as well as getting this economy roaring like we've never witnessed. It'll be like the roaring 20s prior to the Great Depression. And so we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, this is what's happening in the news. As always, just want to check in, share with you some things that caught my attention. Hope you guys enjoy some of this analysis here and deep dive down some of these potential rabbit holes. But as always, all the information you need, resources in the description. And if you want to get into these articles, whatever, go to rtd.news and check it out. But other than that, enjoy the rest of your day. Be blessed, be safe, love, live, laugh, and learn. And enjoy today. Shalom.